Ladies and gentlemen, I know you heard me say good morning not too long ago. Apologies for the technical issues that we have. You would not live a blissful life if you did not have technical issues in life. So, welcome once again to the Sho't Left Travel Week webinar. And I call it a Travel Week webinar, but technically speaking, it is a short left webinar where we want to spend a couple of hours with you. And when I say hours, it's probably like an hour and a half.
It's not ours, yeah.
Yeah, it's not hours. That felt like we're going to be here the whole day. Ne? So if you're wondering who I'm talking to, I am talking to Melanie Lelu, the Trade Relations Manager. Before I introduce her, I might want to introduce myself. My name is Mashoto Mokgeti, Head of Domestic Tourism at South African Tourism. Melanie, how you doing?
I'm good, great.
It is
Lovely
a
to be here.
all day.
Very cold.
So if you can see Mel and I'm in a coat. Melanie is in a poncho. It's July, guys. We are cold. So please bear with us. Now, I'm going to take you through what we're going to go through today so that I don't keep you here for too long. We have a number of speakers with us. I will take you through a bit of the work that South African tourism does. Melanie will take you through Travel Week and everything that is Travel Week. And then we have Dr. Sefolo, who's going to take us through digitalization,
Co-creating.
co-creating digital SMMEs. We then have a fantastic presentation from Vongani Sambo, who is from our South African Tourism Research Department, who will take us through quite a number of insights. Then we will end off with Mpho, who will take us through TikTok. As I say TikTok, I still get shocked that something like TikTok exists and my children have thousands of followers on there. I'm dying as it stands. But to not keep this for too long, I'm going to take you through my presentation very, very briefly, just so that you get an understanding of who we are as domestic tourism. I'm not going to go through too much details on this because, as I mentioned, we've got the guy who actually knows what he's talking about, who's going to present around the numbers. What I just did want to show is mainly the January to March. Mongane will take you through the full year and how we performed. We did exceptionally well for the year. But what we are seeing is that, we are now seeing a slight decrease from last year, but we are doing exceptionally well still from our numbers, our COVID numbers. I'm not going to go through too much details about our numbers. As I said, we've got the expert who's going to actually talk through that. While we have seen a decrease in our numbers, what we are seeing is an increase in spend numbers. So which means, Mel, our GDP numbers will still be quite sufficient, even though we are seeing less trips being taken, we are seeing people spending more.
Cost
The
of living
work,
has a lot to do with
it
that.
has to do, it does. And what we are working on, and that's why we're here today, is to ensure that we drive South Africans to travel a lot more than they have been in the past couple of months. I did this presentation not too long ago. It was so weird, Mel. So I said, look, we are seeing less people traveling for visiting friends and relatives. We are seeing more people traveling for holiday, and we're seeing more males travel. And the males started clapping in the room, and I was like, I hope you're taking those girls out. That must be the thing that you're actually doing. So we are seeing a different incidence of travel. And as you can see, we are seeing a different incidence of travel in terms of the race of the people that are actually traveling, with most of them being black people, and we're still seeing 15%, which is white, and 2 and 5 for colored and Indian. The other slide that I presented was this one where I had Limpopo high-fiving themselves in the room because Limpopo was the highest number of people actually traveling people traveling as a destination province, basically. So it has been quite great for Limpopo. They also attested to the fact that they have seen a few more people coming to Limpopo
I'm sure
than
now
normally.
during winter, the people are going to Limpopo.
I think we are all going to Limpopo. Vongani is going to see us a bit later. He will tell us about how he would prefer to be in Limpopo right now because it's warmer right now and we are dying here in Gauteng. I've taken people through the slide a number of times, and the reason I do that is just so people understand who we target and why we target the people that we're targeting. Um, it is a case of looking at the population and then the adult population, how many people actually do have an income. And of those people who earn an income, Mel, as you know, we deliberated a lot a couple of years ago, and 5,000 rand was the absolute minimum to get someone out of the house. And one of those, the three segments that we actually target are the build segment, which is where we're building the culture of travel, where we have the convert segment, which is our main segment, where we're trying to convince people that, while you are traveling for visiting friends and relatives, it is important to actually travel for holiday. And then we've got the defend segment, which are already traveling. They're doing they're having their best lives
And we need to
in
keep
essence.
them traveling.
And we need to keep them traveling and make sure that they don't leave the country,
Well, don't
hopefully.
spend it all overseas, give us some of that budget.
Yeah, no, please stay home. Don't go anywhere else. I'm not going to go through this in detail because Vongani will do exactly this and take you through why people traveling, which relaxation is quite key on that particular aspect. And the reasons that they're not traveling is higher priority expenses. We had the conversation, I was at the Grading Council session this weekend, and we were talking about what are these higher priority expenses? And someone was like, I've been looking at those shoes. Those shoes look great. Now I'm thinking, should I go or should I buy the
Pair of
shoes?
shoes is a one night stay over.
It's a one night stay over. You don't build memories on shoes, great as they are. And I also bought sneakers not too long ago, so I know how great shoes are. But it is great to build memories. Social networks are absolutely important, and you will see that with Sho't Left, we spend a lot of our time actually posting on our social media platforms. And the reason for that is that that's where people go for information. You will see us on TV. Mel knows when we run this campaign, we're on TV, we're on radio, we're on socials, mainly on social. We are on newspapers, we are every platform that you're looking at except cinema. We are pretty much there. The other elements that I just wanted to show, but I'm not also going to go into too much detail on this because Vongani is coming. I think Vongani is probably thinking, I think
Can she stop now?
can she just stop mentioning my name now? But as I said, social media is important when people are selecting their destinations. So what we urge you guys to do is be on social, whether you also are sending us information that we can post on our social media or your own social media. You also need to be very, very vocal on your social media, and you must be always on your social media so that people can find you, because that's where they are looking for information to decide where they are actually going. And then when they actually book, social media also still plays an important part along with online travel aggregators. And online travel aggregators have learned how important social media also is. You've seen now.
Absolutely, yeah.
You see them on social media because they know that's where people are looking for information. So, if you forget my name, don't forget my name. But if you do forget my name, remember the importance of social media. In terms of when people travel, we've got April, September, and December as the biggest times that people actually travel. And you'll see when I start talking about the campaigns that we do throughout the year, how important those months are. We are always on, so we are always communicating travel throughout the year. But we are very cognizant of the fact that if we're communicating Easter, we started in February so that by April, people are kind of geared up. When we start doing travel week, which is why we're here today in our coats and poncho, we start communicating it now in July for a September, sorry, for a campaign in September. And then as soon as, Mel thinks she's going to rest, we start doing summer in October to prepare for December. Throughout the year, we also do run a number of other campaigns, which I'll take you through. In terms of the key trends that we have seen for this particular year, sustainability has remained something that's critical. People still want to travel for sustainable reasons. And one of the things I do need to emphasize is the community element of it. People want to make sure that you're taking care of your community. So, how you're treating the people that you hire, who you're hiring, those are the things that people are looking for. I don't think I need to tell you how important technology is. We've seen AI, virtual reality as something that's driving travel. Loyalty programs. I keep saying, if you open my purse, I think I have
The
20
wallet is
cards.
bursting with
Like
loyalty cards.
with loyalty cards, I get into a petrol station and I'm like, I'll tell you, okay, where are we again? Let me see which one I'm pulling out. So loyalty programs are important, and you don't need to overthink these loyalty programs. People are actually just happy that you get a message from your medical aid that says, "Happy birthday, Mashoto." It's on the 25th of November. Feel free to send a message. I'll send you my number later. Experiential travel. We are all different people. What Mal enjoys to do and what I enjoy to do are not the same. She might enjoy going to a spa. I do not. Her nails look fantastic. Mine do not. So, there's certain things she would do, I do not do. I do, however, enjoy quad biking. That is something that I
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoy. So, experiential travel is quite important. I'm also very keen on health and wellness, and it is something that we've experienced since we got out of COVID. Staycations, if you were with us last year, you would know we spoke about this at great length that people are looking for shorter trips. That's why we say take a short left because it's short, it's quick, it's easy. And people are looking for staycations. Accessibility has also become quite important. People want to know that they can have accessible travel in every way that can happen. So even when we have people who are
It's all
living with
inclusive. Yeah.
disabilities,
Yeah.
inclusivity is extremely important. Culture and heritage. So this is when Limpopo got very excited when I said this, that people also want to travel for culture and heritage, but they also want to know that we're preserving our culture and heritage. We're not losing it. With these young ones coming in, we don't want to lose who we actually are.
There's a
So
risk of that. Yeah.
exactly. So that is quite important. And I don't need to emphasize safety and security. People want to know that wherever they're going, they will be safe, but also that if I'm leaving my house will also be safe. Just to take you through our campaigns very quickly, we've got our Easter campaign, which is set your table anywhere in the country. We do that, as I mentioned, from February until whenever Easter ends. And then right now, Mel is going to take you through the Great South African Sale. So I'm not going to go into detail on that. And then when it comes to October, we get into a summer campaign, which is Give Me Some of That Sho't Left. That's a festive campaign. Throughout the year, we still talk about Month of Love. So in February, all the lovers in the house, we do talk about that. And as it stands right now with our codes, we are talking winter, which is find your warmth this particular season. That is what we do. Now, Mel is also going to talk to you guys about how you support this particular campaign, but you must know that we insist that you support us throughout the year. As you can see, while it's three main campaigns that we run, but we are communicating throughout the year. I'm not going to go through this because Mel will in her particular slide. I will talk to this. And the reason I'm talking to this is that I get questioned a lot of times that and I say I very loosely, that we do not promote particular provinces enough. I want you to please look at the slide with that knowledge that we promote what we have. We cannot promote something that we do not have. We do not own the product. You guys own the product. The more you support us, the more we will promote you. So I want you guys to please keep that in mind, especially when you come up with the questions. We are on particular platforms that you can join us on. I told you guys about social media and its importance of it. So please make sure that you do follow us on the different platforms that we actually have, as you can see on the slides. So yeah, thank you. My details are right there. So you can contact me or you can contact on the slide that was before. So yeah, Mel.
Great, excellent. Yeah, I mean, there's some good insights in terms of trends that I hope that our trade partners are, paying attention to, because I think it does sort of guide where they're going and what information they should be including, when they are creating their deals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mel, can you take us through Travel Week?
Absolutely. So, welcome again, everyone. Thank you so much. We're very pleased with the response that we've had from all of you with regards to this webinar. It's clear to us that we must continue, and we will, as long as we can keep bringing good panelists to help you educate and inform. We will continue to do so. So let's see what's happening with Travel Week. But first, let's reflect on last year. 9,878 booking inquiries. That's quite phenomenal. We had over 11 the year before. Last year, just under 10. And I think it's still really a reflection of how the industry, how resilient we are, and how consumers, South Africans, continue to enjoy South Africa. The leads that we generate through these booking inquiries, we have to emphasize that these have to be followed through. We provide the platforms, the marketing, the Sho't Left website, and these generate leads for you. But it's really up to you as product owners to continue and follow through and convert these to actual bookings. So it's great to see these good numbers coming through based on the campaigns. It shows us that what we're doing is working, but we really do appeal to you to ensure that you follow through and convert these so that we can see the numbers impact the actual numbers that we're trying to achieve.
And I like what you're saying about that, Mel. We also did launch a new platform which you'll take people through, and people were still trying to kind of maneuver the new platform. So I urge everybody that while you still have Mel and I here, you ask us as many questions as possible on South African tourism, on the platform, and on anything that we are about to present today. Sorry, Mel.
No problem. Love that you are reiterating, because that's why we're here. That's what this webinar is all about. So just basically what we do every year is take you through the kind of campaign elements that we have. And of course, we kick off the Travel Week marketing campaign with B2B marketing, and that is us to you. So we try and reinforce all our messaging as far as Travel Week, marketing is concerned. And we want to help ensure that we get you on board, because the benefit of Travel Week and the Great South African Sale, we can't, emphasize anymore how great that benefit is to you as a business. And this is to ensure that nobody gets left behind. So you're going to get familiar with this, with these elements, because you're going to see them now, because the campaign is going live this week. We have our email signatures, we'll have banners, we've got tons of social media that's going to be going live, like Mashoto has mentioned earlier. We can't not be on social media, and social media is actually extensive marketing when it comes to Sho't Left. Other elements we have, again, your Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn posts. We've got website banners. This is just really the concepts to give you an idea of what you can look forward to, and to just be reminded when you see these ads popping up. It's really a reminder to get you to log on to the platform if you're already there, or to create your profile, to register and ensure that you are there so that you don't miss out on the benefits of these campaigns. And then we go into our consumer campaign at a much later stage. So probably not later, another week or so behind our business B2B campaign. This is what your consumer elements will look like. So again, you as business owners are also consumers, and you'll see this is what your travelers will be exposed to. This is the marketing that they'll be consuming. And again, it is considerably early. We have phases as far as our consumer marketing goes, and it's to ensure that South Africans are geared up and ready for when that great South African sale begins. So we're giving them the opportunity to save, prepare, plan, and be ready for those amazing deals that you guys are going to be providing. This is pretty much a snapshot of what the media mix looks like. And like Mashoto mentioned, we're everywhere. Community radio, if I must mention, is also a very key part of our media plan. And just about every social media platform that you can think of, radio, TV, our out of home is huge. And quite exciting as well. I think there's some integration with the outdoor and the social media. When you look at your social media advertising, it somehow integrates. But yeah, I think someone else might be able to better explain that. But it's pretty cool.
I love also the fact that if you can see on the mix, we've got Sebenza, which is our taxis. So we're getting into Wi-Fi's in taxis because we're trying to reach as many people as possible. So I thought that was absolutely amazing.
And I think also just to touch on the fact that there is a minimum budget that we consider, even for our South Africans that are not really yet ready and in the position to consume and buy travel. It's important for us to educate and to keep that information and communication flowing. So reaching them, it might benefit them at a later stage, but at least they've got the tools and the information from our Sho't Left campaign. So that's what it looks like. And also just to note that we are going to be activating around the country as well. So look out for us, because we will be in those key places that we expect to find South Africans.
And our provincial partners who are here, we will be reaching out to you to see if there's any elements that we can activate in your different provinces.
And also we always will be collaborating with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our Sho't Left partner platform. I say Sho't Left, but just also to note that this platform is actually a South African tourism-wide platform. So our grading council, our NCB, they all really are utilizing the platform. This is specifically the area of the platform that speaks to deals, okay, to your travel packages. You should all be pretty familiar with this platform. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that everyone on this call is already on the platform. If you aren't, we should be sharing the URLs for you so that you can go on. While you're online, you can actually register. It's a very simple process. If you find any issues, remember that we are available on support@southafrica.net. So any support you need in terms of registration, creating your deals, updating your profile, whatever it is you need, you can email us on that email address. The email and the URLs, like I said, you should find on your chat. So yeah, so this is our platform. So please make sure that you are there. We'll also be providing you with a toolkit. Shots, we do this every year, and the feedback is actually very positive. Every year we actually see more and more companies utilizing the toolkit. So the reality is, if you utilize the toolkit, it actually it grows your association. It reinforces the association you have with the campaign. So those consumers that are out there and they see Great South African Sale, Travel Week from our side, and then they see it from your side, all we're doing really is driving more traffic to your websites and to your social media platforms. So please do take advantage of the toolkit elements. We always have tips available on how you can better maximize what you are doing for your Travel Week campaign. And you can apply that to your other, campaign and marketing strategies that you do throughout the year in association with us. So you can't apply your Travel Week toolkit, but apply what you're learning as far as the tips go. We have social media elements that will be available for you. We always provide you with a mailer template, so you can use that, put in your own information that relates to your Travel Week, and tell your consumers and your followers, what it is that you're planning to sell at Travel Week. Get them excited. Don't give it away, because really the best part is that Travel Week is the 1 week that they can look forward to, where they will find all the deals available. So give them as much of a selection as we possibly can by saving those great deals for Travel Week. Just a reminder, if I didn't mention it
You
earlier,
did not. I was about to ask you.
just assuming that everybody knows about Travel Week, but Travel Week really was born out of the idea borrowing from Black Friday. So it's our Black Friday to the industry, and it's really that 1 week where we encourage South Africans to log on, go to shortleft.co.za, find your best deal. We have perfect deals out there for you, and we want you to go through everything, navigate your way through the website. You can search. There are different categories, provinces, types of deals that you can look for, and find what you're looking for and book it. Your booking inquiry, go straight to the product owner. So, really, that is what we're saying to South Africans.
Yeah.
Travel Week is for all South Africans, and important for this audience to understand that is for all travel and tourism companies in South Africa. So as long as you are trying to sell to the domestic market, this is the platform you need to use. Some more toolkit elements. There's your mailer, your social media, and we try to make it adaptable so that you can apply your own brand to the use of these. If there are any issues, again, using your toolkit, you need to reach out and let us know so that we can assist you. The toolkit will be readily available. As soon as you've logged on, you will find it on your profile. So you'll be able to access the toolkit while you're creating your deals. It's all there available for you. Okay, so there are some new features that I'm quite excited to share, as you mentioned. It's a phased approach again as far as the trade platform goes, because it's company-wide. It's for all of South African tourism businesses that will be utilizing it. Everything is happening in different phases, but throughout the year. Fortunately for us, as far as Sho't Left goes, we've already been using the partner platform for a year now.
Since last year,
because we launched it for Travel Week last year. We are ensuring that the toolkit is more accessible to all of you. We've also introduced a library section, and that is where you will find the images that you can actually use that we've provided, as well as images that you can upload and utilize that you are possibly using for your own company. Some of you have your own gallery of images that you'll choose to use. And also, if anybody finds images that are clearly owned by a different company, please can you reach out and ask permission as a courtesy before you utilize other businesses' images. But you will identify the South African tourism images quite easily. As we go on moving forward, we will also be able to provide you with information that is useful, which will include research, possibly our presentations, all kinds of information that we think will be of benefit to you will also be available in the library. A new functionality that we've introduced is the moving around of your images. So when you create your deals, we try and emphasize, if you only put up one image, you will definitely hear back from us, because we have an opportunity to send you a review to update and correct certain things that you've created. So one of the things that we've now introduced is the moving of your images. So if you upload your images, you can actually, move them around so that the most appropriate one shows up first. And that is the one that will be utilized on your main deal. So on our main deal page, that is where your first image will be seen. So, preferably you want to make that the first image that you upload. And then also, when it comes to completing the creating of your deals and your profiles, we have now got a more clear, improved error messaging. So when you put something incorrectly, or if you miss a field and it's a mandatory field, it will be very clear in red, indicating this information is required, and you actually won't be able to proceed without doing that. The mandatory information really is stuff that you have on hand, so we don't want you to be worrying about information and stuff about your company that you possibly don't want to share, or that you're not, you don't have that information. Everything that is required is very general, so please don't worry about that. What is very important on your profile as well as your deals is your physical address, your location. When you put this information in on your deals, please ensure that the location information is related to the actual deal. So if you have a package that has various elements, make sure you put in the key destination information. So whether it's the activity for you or it's the accommodation for you as a business, that is the location information that is required. And that also helps the consumer when they start searching on the website for your deals or for better deals. Okay, so moving along, we are linked to Google Analytics and Google Maps. So this one's very exciting for us. You're able to actually track the performance of your deal. So you can actually see, it will tell you how many people clicked on your deal, how many booking inquiries have been sent. So if you need that for your reporting purposes, or really just to see what's working, there you have it. We have the analytics information available for you. So don't forget to create your deals for Sho't Left Travel Week.
Yes, please.
We've got some key dates as well that I'll get to. Just reminders. This is your URL when you need to create or log in. Your technical support with regards to the platform. You can start creating Travel Week deals from the 1st of August. And the reason for this is because some of you already have deals that are currently running. Let's give them a chance to run. Let South Africans see those deals and then put in those great discounted deals from the 1st of August. Okay, our travel week runs from 2nd to the 8th of September. I'm feeling a bit rushed, but let's just finish off here and take note of that information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mel.
I got everything in.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe this is still us doing Travel Week and enjoying every single part of this campaign.
I know.
And we are enjoying this campaign because you have partnered with us on this particular campaign. Now, Mel, there's one question I do need to ask you. We always say, book now, travel later. Tell me about that.
Well, this is the best part of it because our Sho't Left platform allows our partners to create deals that are not for September. The deals can be any time from September. So they can put in deals that support their quiet times. They can boost their big, marketing campaigns with deals during those times. It's really up to them. And then South Africans, based on the deals they select, get to travel anytime in the year that follows.
And that's the fantastic thing about it, because if you have a number of properties around the country and one province is not performing, you can then promote that one
Use
more.
Travel Week.
You use Travel Week to do that. If people don't travel in January, then you can use that
to get them going.
To get them there. When we started this campaign, that was literally what we were thinking. And
because we want to get people traveling all year.
All year.
But Shots, we've got some of our partners that can testify to the fact that Travel Week works for them. And I think we should hear from those partners.
I think we should. I just want to check if we take questions first. All right. You're right, Mel. Let's rather hear from our partners. And then after that, we will get into the questions.
Sure,
yeah, because we've got a couple of questions that have come through.
Excellent. I'm Melanie Lalou, Trade Relations Manager for the Sho't Left campaign, which is basically our domestic marketing campaign that is aimed at encouraging South Africans to travel and explore our amazing country. We have a huge benefit that we have created for the travel trade in South Africa, because they get to be supported by an extensive marketing campaign. It's run throughout the year, but in particular we have our flagship campaign, which is Sho't Left Travel Week, that takes place in September. So we've got a lot of companies on board, and we've got a lot of travel experiences that come with those companies. They get to create deals that South Africans can choose from, and the whole aim is to encourage South Africans to travel. So we want to give them as many options as we can, so they can also see that we've got so much happening around the country that they can enjoy.
I'm Bulelo Cafe. I'm the director and the founder of Sakesoza Tours. I'm a tour operator based in Northern Cape, in Pixley, Kaseme, in a Karoo, in a small town called Colesberg. Since I started to reach out with putting my products on Sho't Left, there's a traffic of people who are not just coming and staying in Colesberg for a day, or they're extending their days now.
I hope you enjoyed those videos and enjoyed people who actually are testifying to the fact that it actually works. We will be rolling out more videos. We just thought we'd give you a taste of these particular videos. So Mel, I'm just going to jump into the questions. I'll take some. You'll take some.
You'll take the
then
tough ones, right?
Well, yeah, I guess that is my job. So one of the questions that we are getting is it possible to get funding for doing a research upon a promising travel market? I'm going to be very honest with the person that's asking the question, that from us, no. We are not able to fund you for that. There's many organizations that actually do fund you for that, and we can guide you to get that particular funding. But as South African Tourism, as I mentioned, we have our research unit which does all the research. And I think this is a Vongani question to answer, but what we can look at is what research you are offering, because in certain times we may buy research as opposed to actually doing the research ourselves. So we may have to look at it in that way, but we do not fund research in that sense.
Also, if it's about accessing information, we've got very, very extensive research available.
We do.
So
We definitely do. So I hope I've answered your question. Are there any other questions? So DMCs are resellers of products, and Sho't Left wants us to give discounts to those deals. Is this a deal breaker to getting into the platform?
there's no such a thing as a deal breaker when it comes to working with Sho't Left, because we are here to serve the industry. As a DMC, I think it's important to negotiate with your product owners. We cannot prescribe what you sell your deals for. You know, your travel packages are really entirely business to business. It's what you can afford. If you've got a really good deal, you know, at some point, a negotiation can provide a discount. So all we're saying is you can, you know, push those particular deals throughout the year. But when it comes to Travel Week, we are appealing to you to bring your discounted deals. That's what Travel Week is. It's the great South African sale. So it's really, you know, the responsibility is from our side is to ensure that we are bringing discounts to South Africans. Throughout the year, you can put in any other deals. So if the rest of the campaigns work better for a DMC, you know, then maybe that's what it is. But it's certainly not us saying you're not allowed. You've got the whole year to participate.
Definitely not a deal breaker. What we will ask is that whatever happens, the negotiations need to happen between you and the product owners so that you are not selling something that you have not negotiated with the product owner.
Yes.
It is something that we have experienced before, and we've had to answer questions that we did not have answers to. So we urge you that when you are selling anyone, please negotiate with them. Now, some of our products are listed in the name of the business that is providing them. And so as a DMC, I'm still under review for this platform. How do we address this? So I'm thinking it's pretty much what we just spoke about, that your product is Mashoto's B&B.
And I think the consumer's going straight to Mashoto.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know how that is possible because you are the one who puts in the booking URL.
Yeah.
So whatever link you provide for the consumer, that if and this is assuming this is what the issue is, then the person that clicks on your deal should be taken to you. All of our tour operators are basically selling other people's product. So maybe this is a conversation we can take offline and we can work together to see how we can resolve this.
And if you are still under review, I think I have to emphasize what I just said. If you are a DMC and you are selling another business, then I'm working on the assumption that you and that business have a relationship already. So when we sit, like last year, where we had a number of businesses saying we are showcasing them under another business and they don't know about it, we are urging you, please be in touch with the business that you're selling. Because Mel and I found ourselves answering many questions.
In a real pickle. And I think as a DMC, if I can just note that, from my perspective, it doesn't make business sense to sell something that is exactly the same as, what the product owner is selling. So you need to give a different spin, and that is where your creating the deal comes into play. Your description and your title has a lot to do with the interest that you're going to gain. So, but if you want to take the conversation further, we are happy to do so offline.
Yes, we have given our details, as we said, Mel. You
can get support from support@southafrica.net. If you want to reach us with queries like this, you can contact us on Sho't Left at southafrica.net.
And please remember, there is no R in Sho't Left. Is SHOTLEFT.
I think we'll have it in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Like if the guys can please put it in.
I believe I'm all questioned out. Awesome. Now, Mel, I don't know about you.
Oh, wait, I don't think we've taken this one.
We did not take this one. We signed up for the Sho't Left portal and obtained our password. The challenge now is each time we use the same login details, it does not accept.
Well, your login details should be saved, so it's probably something technical. And here I urge you to email support@southafrica.net, and we'll definitely assist you with this particular issue, and we'll get it fixed.
It is actually not that tricky to fix it. Just please make sure you email support@southafrica.net. That would have been our last question.
Okay.
So
Great.
I think
That means we're quite
everybody
clear.
can just take a bit of a minute. We will be back in a very short while with Dr. Sefolo, who is going to take us through a very, very interesting conversation on co-creation for digital SMME.
SMMEs.
I had to, my English died on me this morning when I was trying to say that. She's smarter than me. She's a doctor. So she will take us through all of that. Just give us about a minute or two, and then we'll be right back with you. I know that was a short break, but I hope you managed to boil your kettle and get your coffee. I don't want to waste more time. As I mentioned, we've got, yes, she is a doctor, Dr. Sofolo with us in studio, who's going to take us through co-creating digital SMMs. I'm not even going to try to understand. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to try to say what you're going to say. So please take over.
Thank you so much, Mashato. Good morning, everyone at home, the viewers at home. And I'm actually very privileged to be among the panelists here. I would like to share my journey. I am definitely from the Tshwane University of Technology. We empower people. Actually, this year, we're celebrating 20 years of empowering people. And I'm from the Department of Tourism Management, of which we have impacted more than 28,000 students. That's why we are celebrating. Obviously, our institution actually has got approximately 60,000 students that we have. We are the biggest university of technology in terms of contact in Africa. So I'm here to share my story regarding the research that was funded by the National Research Foundation. I'm grateful to South African Tourism for the platform. My story began 20 years ago. It's great that it's 2020. So it began 20 years ago when I was working as a tourism information officer in a publicity. So you would imagine back then the trend was I had a room filled in with quite a lot of brochures. So if one looks at the fourth industrial revolution of where we come from, other countries are talking about the fifth and the sixth. So things have changed. We went beyond now the brochure. That's why the title like that. This is just the research looking at what we have done in the previous 2 years. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are celebrating in South Africa 30 years. It's time for us to reflect. This project has got a footprint. It has touched quite a number of SMEs nationally because we were working with a consulting firm in KwaZulu-Natal, as well as an association with members nationally. Without wasting any time, it's always important to actually remind ourselves about what COVID-19 has done to us. It has actually accelerated how we use technology. So it's very important that we invest in those skills that are needed so that we upskill some of the South Africans, because I am from academia and part of our duty is to conduct research and also have community engagement. While we are doing that, there are many things that we are doing. So digital technology worldwide is actually transforming the world, and some of the statistics from the practitioners on the ground, they say we need to implement about 96 digital initiatives for us to actually unblock over 500 trillion in terms of value. And I wondered, where are the SMMEs in this process? Because if there's so much money, then where are they? Obviously, they are there doing their job. But the research also says there's a training that is needed. We need to upskill the staff members and also invest in business advisory support, as well as education and network around the mentors. In other words, there should be a network of mentors for SMEs to continue, but where will they get that? Because the money is actually limited, or it's there for a specific reason. So over above everything else, as an academic, I relied on the literature. I came across the transformative transdisciplinary research design, which says we should work with the society to try and solve the problems that are there. In other words, we should aim to generate scientific knowledge while inventing real-world solutions and innovating, because we must work with non-scientific actors, which are the stakeholders on the ground. I'm not going to bore you with a whole lot of details in terms of what happened. It started by asking a simple question. What are your thoughts? What are your aspirations when it comes to digitalization? Do you understand what it means? What does it mean to you as an individual? So the stories are critical so that we get to ask for what reason and try to come up with the processes that could be beneficial. So I'm not going to bore you with that. Some of the examples, it was just telling stories, whether through different platforms that are actually there. Now, this is where the juicy part comes in. The transformative transdisciplinary research says it's an action research. In other words, you must work with the society because the society is a practice on its own. They know what they're doing. The SMEs, they know what they're doing. In other words, they've got real problems on the ground, and those real problems, we should understand them from a different angle. For an example, some of the SMMEs are actually very hesitant to participate in research it could be for whatever reason. And this process says from the scientific point of view, in other words, we must work with the universities, we must work with the research companies, we must work with different innovators so that we contribute to the knowledge gap. In other words, there should be planning that is done together, prepare whatever it is that you are upon consultation, and you co-create, you work together, and you collect information from the stakeholders because there's a big digital divide, particularly when it comes to the skills gap as well. So it's important for one to understand that you can never have transformation if you are doing something independently, hence co-creation.
That is so important. I'm sorry to just come in there, but that's like one of the most fundamental things I've actually heard. And I love the fact that you've mentioned that we are not getting research that we require sometimes from a lot of our businesses, and it's not just SMMEs, it's businesses in entirety. So I would like you guys who are on the chat to either comment on that or ask a question about that so that we find a way to solve for this, because the more you give us, the more we can help you. Sorry, I just needed to add that.
Portia, if I can also just add to that, because we run surveys following Travel Week every year. Yeah. And I would also like to hear from our partners, our trade partners. They are so reluctant to participate in that research. And the thing is, we can only improve with that sort of input. So I completely hear what you're saying. I mean,
yes, so basically it's important to co-create, co-produce as the collective. And if we don't get the data or the information that is relevant to a stakeholder, it becomes difficult to solve a problem that they're actually facing. So trying to move away from everything, I don't want to bore you with the details. This is
we
a
like you boring us with the details.
This is a multi-track process that we did. It started with a conversation around the tourism stakeholders in a tourism value chain, from dry clean services companies, and we had interviews with consulting firms in the tourism sector. Over and above that, tour operators. It started with a conversation, and then they stated how they feel or how digitalization can impact their organization. And fortunately, the results, I would just want to highlight two things. One of the stakeholders or the participants mentioned that legally they are struggling, particularly when it comes to contracts, because these are entrepreneurs, small businesses. And another one said, we want to be in a platform where we are not going to pay a lot of money for us just to be on that platform. And we want to actually reach out easily other stakeholders so that we get to work together in a supply network. It started by that conversation. Then we went back to track 2. A consulting firm said, I've got advertising. You know, I've got this platform where I have an annual tourism week or travel week. Come, share with us. And some of the issues that happened or something that happened, we divided the SMEs into 5. I think, Mel, you were there as well. We had experts with ChatGPT. Others were interested in finding out how to use ChatGPT to actually deal with the finances in my organization, or to develop a travel package, and they got to learn. And others were worried about the use of big data and wanted to know, how can we use it? Instead of getting there and telling them what to do, we brought the solutions in terms of the IT experts in the room. And then that led to track 3 in Gauteng now, coming back to Gauteng, different experts that were actually there. Others that were there, they were talking about cybersecurity issues. Some had their issues, their problems actually solved there and there. That's why co-designing and co-producing digitalized SMEs, transformative knowledge, that's how it actually happened. And just coming to make sense in terms of what we did, I spoke about ChatGPT. These are some of the businesses that were impacted, and 40 businesses were given a platform to learn to have a social media content course, which was actually free for them, and they did it. 7 completed, unfortunately, but it had an impact to 15 participants. And what was nice, we also had government representatives talking about the digital strategies in the room. We had experts shaping the industry, and other businesses, they received website boosting. Others, they received search engine optimization, as well as script optimization and code updates, because there were IT experts that were assisting directly the needs of the SMEs in the room. So some of the trends, it is really important to understand as SMEs that, you know what, there's a shift towards embracing online solutions, and also the SMEs need to actually expand their knowledge in terms of reaching the market that they need, expand so that you enhance efficiency and drive innovation. But then again, managerial implications are forever there. That digital divide and the skill gap is there. Unfortunately, the limited access to effective or modern information technology is also a hindrance towards SMEs. And then another thing, we need to advance as we go further. And the practical implication is that we need to work together, have targeted interventions that are meaningful to the SMEs or the participants that you're working with, through stakeholder engagement, coordination, or as well as participation in the value chain, so that they become competitive and enjoy all the benefits that are there offered by South African tourism, such as your travel week, that are there. So we need to do that, and most importantly, understand the exposures to risk, such as your cybersecurity threats and data privacy. I love the fact that, Mel, you spoke about the toolkit. We also had, through this research, together with the participants, and I did say, these are the practitioners on the ground. These are experts that were actually involved. So we came up with a toolkit that could assist some of the SMEs to be digital resilient, and by developing their strategies and etc. So there is actually a long list. Coming right at it, some of the platforms, let's rely on those platforms that we have. According to research, the preferred solutions, I'm talking about the participants, because in total we had 200 and something SMEs that we have worked with in the process. So the preferred mode of communication, especially in domestic tourism, to boost interaction is important. Let's use the platforms that are available among ourselves, and that Google platform is very important to actually use and to rely upon it. A mobile-friendly website, we must remember, because people, we can use the content creators, and also if it's user-friendly, it becomes easy. We need to encourage the satisfied customers to give feedback, because feedback, I love the presentation, the proof from the participants that, you know what, they're very excited. And as I come to a close, I said we are celebrating 20 years. We are moving from good to great at Tshwane University. And thank you so much for a platform I wouldn't have actually mentioned. Now I'm inviting everyone to travel locally. We've got a conference in September coming up. This is the time and opportunity. Let's all go to Knysna. And we welcome the adventure SMEs actually to partake in such. And I thank you.
Excellent.
Portia, you should have led with Knysna. Thank you so much, Dr. Sofolo. That was absolutely insightful, especially even for myself, to actually, tie a lot of things together. Because, when I spoke about the importance of digitalization. Mel spoke about our platform and how we've managed to change a few things to be a bit more digital savvy. And I think you have kind of cemented it with a lot more education.
Yes. And I think a big takeout for me, along with the fact that digitalization is so key. I mean, I don't think a business can operate without acknowledging that. But a takeout from what Dr. Portia has mentioned is that you got to take advantage of the opportunities, especially those that are actually at no cost.
And we are free.
And this is a free platform.
Yeah.
And I think even outside of Sho't Left, there are many platforms that you can actually, whether it's on a trial basis or whatever the case is, we just need to make sure that people take advantage. Sometimes it requires a little bit of work, but you've got to put the work in, to see the fruit.
And I think you mentioned that someone did mention that being part of platforms sometimes is quite expensive. And we get that quite a lot, where people say, I would love to be part of this particular platform, but it's going to cost me quite a lot of money. Obviously, we will push that ours is free. But Mel is very right in that in certain instances, yes, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. I think that's a fact.
Yeah.
But in certain instances, we also need to work harder as an industry to get into particular spaces, because that's how you grow. And that's how you get to, you mentioned that, they want to be in platforms where they can liaise with other people, engage other people so that they can work together. Unfortunately, it does require for
Some
you
work
to
as well, yeah.
attend particular things and be part of particular associations, as an example. That is the reality of the situation, while we do obviously understand the cost.
Just to add on that one, there is power in networking, particularly amongst ourselves. And if you look within your range or within your vicinity to check who is playing in the similar field and how can I leverage on that, it's very important because we work with what we have.
Last year we had a presentation from Indahash, who do influencers. And one of the ladies actually said, I think we think about influencers as the celebrities that are sitting there waiting for us to pay them money to do something. But actually, your priest, like your church group, could be people who spread the message about you. But if you are not out there engaging with people, then you won't have people speaking on your behalf. I thought I'd mention that before we get into the questions. So you do have people asking questions. I think we've got about 2 questions. What market research do we need to conduct to understand our digital consumer base?
Can I approach it from this angle? Somebody said at some point, Google solves quite a number of issues. We start right there. But I would imagine as an SME, if you want to understand who is my customer that I can connect with digitally, you start with what you have. Find out from the same contacts that you have on your WhatsApp. It starts in a simplest format like that. And then again, you mentioned, Mel, in your presentation, to say that Google Analytics from your interaction in your platform. It starts right there to understand who is interacting with my platform, how many people actually looked at it, and for how long did they spend time. That will give you an idea in terms of how to do it. And over and above that, if you are a member of an association or if you are registered in any platform, it's within your right to request the insights that you're about to get from those platforms because you are a member of. So I would say, start with what you have before anything else, before you even hire other people. I'm from the university. We conduct research, whether it's at a master's level or doctoral level or advanced diploma. Users, we are there. We are there to connect with the communities. It's part of our duty to actually share insights that we get. If we don't know what kind of a research you need, how can we assist you with the research that you need? We may be from the academic perspective, but we may give, as you heard, we work with the practitioners, the experts like yourselves. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here if we're not working together, because we understand we only have one South Africa.
That's true.
We have
That
to
you must
promote
enjoy.
and make sure that whatever we offer is of good quality.
That's very true. And our next speaker is also going to take us through quite a bit of research that we conduct as South African tourism that you have free access to. But I agree with you, Dr. Sefolo. If I do not know what you want, I cannot give you what you want. That is a fact. We've got, did I skip too much? No. How can we leverage SEO to build our brand online? Mel and I went through a whole digital course. It was fascinating. It was long, but
Yeah, it was
fascinating.
amazing.
I also attend some of the courses. It's actually complicated because I am not an IT expert by any chance.
Yeah.
But, we learn from each other and we learn from actually attending and listening. So leveraging your search engine optimization to build your brand online, I think if you have a website and you've got an IT person behind who's helping you with, it's important to ask them. Let's use the people around us. That's how you can find out how to leverage, because that will give you your statistics. And what is also critical is the fact that if you are connected or you've got other customers that are out there that are happy, use that information so that you build on what they prefer. Talk to the customer preferences, because we are living in a situation where the customer tastes, they change now and again. And yesterday I was talking to my niece about being a generation alpha, and gave me the list of sort of like the lingo, the language that they actually use. It's important to listen to the customers, because they are the ones, your Generation X, Generation Y, invest in them because they are the ones. Listen to them, work with them because they are there online. So they will assist you also, and your language that you use in terms of building your brand online, it's important. So that is my 2 cents worth. But I think
Also what you've noted is that while there are many free platforms, it does require some investment if you're going to advance to the different levels, So I think something like SEO requires a bit of investment because it relates to your website, it's the back end, the front end, those are certain things. Maybe you can capitalize on talks and conferences, your associations like SATSA, they have very interesting speakers and training and so on, and other associations. So I think you need to leverage, but you also need to understand that there is a level of investment. You can't run your business for free, because also you need to look at the value you give and get and the quality,
But also, you need to be out there. So on your social media platforms, you have to just be out there in the different platforms. We have TikTok, who's going to speak to us later. But you need to be in those platforms, because the moment you are in all those platforms, it's easier for people to find you, and you building on your search engine optimization. But I agree with Mel. SEO requires a little bit of investment that you need to put in. And even when you're on social media and you're trying to grow your brand on social media, it is important sometimes. And it's as easy as literally you can put 500 Rand onto your
boost
a
your-
particular post to boost it. So those are the things that you do need to look at. And in certain instances we can help you, but in certain instances you do need to find a way to invest. You can't run your business for free, as Mel
Yeah,
said.
marketing requires a little bit of
Yeah.
investment.
Yeah.
What technology infrastructure is essential for a digital SMME? Even me, I'm not going to
This
answer
is a
that.
bit technical for.
It is a very
For
big,
us, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's beyond. But let's try the technology infrastructure.
She
You
was
know,
talking about the
if
website.
we
The
look,
website.
I was thinking exactly the website, because it's within your reach. But from the study that we conducted, we learned that others, they actually rely on Facebook literally.
Yes.
They make it through just by using Facebook. So I would say your choice depends on which platform do you invest your time and
Where are you
get
present?
to understand the most, so that you leverage on what you have, and it's easier for you to actually invest and go with it through it. But the website, it actually help.
No,
It
you
helps a
do.
lot.
You
because
definitely need a website.
You need that
You do a
place
lot.
that you need, where your customers can come and find more information. They'll find you on social media. You need social media.
You definitely
But
need social media.
there's so much more you can share with your website. And again, you can build a website for free.
Yeah, we did. When we
WordPress.
did our digital courses. Yes, we built it.
And
I
if you
still
want
have my
something
website.
better, you pay someone and they make it a little more zhuzhy.
More sexy.
Yeah.
Mine was not sexy at all. I'll tell you.
Well, I hope we helped a little, but yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
the
not a
tools,
technical-
sometimes the tools that you have, we've got smartphones that can do wonders. If that is the type of technology one would prefer, then go for it. Use
again,
what you have.
you can do stuff on trials. Learn and
Definitely.
use Canva. You can do it for free. You don't have to invest in a platform like Canva, and you can make your things look pretty.
And I mean, I still do. He's still there, very much alive and fresh. My nephew, who does so many courses that Google offers for free.
Yes.
There's so many things you can just look at. I mean, he learned how to do, logos and stuff
Yes.
on a course that he did for free on Google. So, you know, while we say you can run your business for free,
There's a lot you
time
can
is
do.
also not free.
Yeah.
You need to invest a lot of time in going through a lot of areas, because there's certain things, yes, they will be free. As I said, my nephew did a logo for me for something, which is absolutely fantastic. I wish he was here so I can high five him. So there's certain things that you can actually find, but you have to invest time also
I
in
agree.
that.
Yeah.
And most importantly, cybersecurity. Invest in protecting what you are doing. Invest in it, because there are many risks out there. There are many chances out there waiting for you as an SME. You can't lose everything. It's important to pay attention.
Very, very important. Ladies and gentlemen, from the looks of things, I am done with the questions. Dr. Sofolo, I've known you for a very long time. We've done interesting work together, you and I. I am so grateful that you're here. And I've learned a lot from everything that you said. So I am, very grateful.
It
that
was
you
a
arrived.
privilege to
Thank
share
you
the
very much
stage
for joining
with
us.
you ladies. And thank you so much at home, at work, as the SMMEs. We wish you all the best. Let's all move from good to great.
Yes.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, while we wait for our next speaker who's going to take us through everything that is insights and data. Let's take a short while, and we mic him up, and then he'll be with us. So let's take a bit of a short while, and we'll see you in a bit. Welcome back, everyone. Mel, I've been in many situations where I've generally thought I was the smartest person in the room. Today's not that day.
No.
No. Today is definitely not that day. So, we had Dr. Sifulu,
Very smart.
exceptionally smart, and now we are about to experience another very smart person in our world. The conversation that we're about to have right now is about unlocking the domestic market. I'm very passionate about this because, as I said, I have been the smartest person in the room on a number of occasions, and I used to actually work in the insights unit at some point in my life. I do not work there anymore, so smarter people have arrived. And with them arriving, we are very happy to announce that we have our very, very smart person in the room. Vongani,
Shots,
hi.
how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm good.
How do we unlock this market?
Sure. So, come with me on a journey, will you? Mel, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah. So let's talk a bit about unlocking the domestic market. So we're just gonna go on a journey, right? So we first gonna look at what we know, the facts. Then we're gonna look a bit on what the people are telling us in terms of what they prefer and things such as where we find them, because we need to know where we find these people for us to be able to now tell them about. I mean, we're talking about Travel Week. If we don't know where we get them for Travel Week, well, we might not place our information correctly. So we're just gonna go on that journey. So where do we start? You've already given everyone a prelude around how
About how
the
smart you are.
performance.
Never mind.
Well, also about how the domestic market has been performing, which is actually a good story to tell. If you look at how we've been doing coming out of the pandemic and then coming to where we are today, I mean, in 2023, when we closed off the year, we actually were about 33% more than what we actually got in 2019, which is a good story to tell. And if you look at the trajectory between 2022 and 2023, it's about 11% increase from that particular year. But what's interesting about these numbers, actually taking from what you also highlighted earlier when you did your presentation around what we saw in the first 3 months of this year, wherein there was a slight decline when we compare it to the first quarter of the other year, right? When you look at this picture here, which basically tells you that 2019, 2023, it was 33%, and you look at 2022, 2023, it's 11%. So the story here is basically telling us that the margin of increase is slowly going down. And if the margin of increase is slowly going down, one can only start to think about things such as it could mean for us that the increase is not going to be as rapid as we saw it when we looked at 2019 and 2023. And so we say we do tourism, Mel. It's not only just South African tourism, it's everyone else in the value chain. Our trade partners as well contribute largely to the performance, right? So now the story becomes, how then do we change the trajectory? We came from a season where numbers were skyrocketing. Now the margin seems to be leveling out. And so how do we collectively do tourism to make sure that we still leverage on the potential that the market has? You'll see when we go on further on that there is still potential for us to still get these numbers to go a little bit up, And if we do it well, we can delay this decline in the marginal increase for a period so that it does not quickly reach to zero where we just break even, when we compare year on year. So where are our people coming from? You've already given them an indication that our people are coming from Limpopo and Gauteng, and a little bit from KZN. And where are they going, right? Our people are going to Limpopo, they're going to Gauteng.
Are
and
you
they're
happy
going to
about
Eastern
that?
Cape. I'm very happy, I mean, it's my province. I'm passionate about my province.
Yet you don't bring mangoes.
No, people have to go to Limpopo and take a short left to Limpopo
That's
to
a
get
good
the
point.
mangoes. So people are going there. But what's interesting about this picture of where people are coming from and where people are going is actually the reason why they are going there. Now, if you look at the three provinces that basically have a lot of people going there, holistically, domestically, people travel for visiting friends and relatives and also for holiday meal. Now, if you look at the three provinces where our people mostly go to, you will notice that those going to Limpopo, it's technically those who are going home. I mean, Easter, we're going home. December, we're going home. Particularly like those festive seasons. We go home. It's the same trend with people who are from the Eastern Cape. During that time, you'll get a lot of people going there, and Gauteng also shows the same trend that you have more people who come here just to visit friends and relatives. But if you look at a province such as your Western Cape, Northwest, and Mpumalanga, the picture starts to change slightly differently. That people who go to those provinces predominantly go there for holiday purposes. So they are more of holiday destinations as compared to the other ones where they have a large volume, but it's not predominantly more for holidays. And so it gives you a sense of how things are looking for us. So in your placement, you're saying that, okay, fine, which ones are the ones which are driving holiday travel for us, and which ones are driving more of visiting friends and relatives, round about that. But holistically, when domestic travelers travel, they travel for visiting friends and relatives and also for going on holiday. Now, in terms of spending patterns, the number of days that they spend in a place, the bed nights as well, you've already alluded to the fact that spend is going up in as much as we're seeing a decline in in travel, in domestic trips, right? And the interesting part here is the fact that Mel has already given an indication that the cost of living, the cost of everything has gone up, meaning that what people would technically pay for in 2019, it's not the same price because now
That's
the prices
true.
have adjusted. And so we will still see our spend going up in as much as our trips are going up. So that could only tell you that if we were to push the number of trips up, then our spend can technically go a
up.
bit more, That's why I keep on saying that there's potential in the market, because even if you look at the bed nights are not decreasing. They are increasing, meaning that people are still spending more in accommodation facilities. In as much as we could say that the cost of living has gone up, But if you look at it in terms of the average length of stay, right, from 2019 to 2023, it hasn't changed. They still stay for about 3 days. But the average spend has increased. If it's sitting about, though not much, the difference is not that big, but it still has increased, giving us a potential. Now, what do we know about the preferences of people? Now, these are things that we get from we basically do what we call it's a domestic lifestyle and brand tracker study, trying to understand the preferences of a domestic traveler out there. Now, what this picture tells us here, it tells us that about 91% of domestic travelers are satisfied with the previous trip that they took. Now, I'm going to put a marker on this slide. When we get to the end, I'm going to put the information back together for us to think about something. And when you go further and you look at people saying that we are still going to travel in future, we've got about 89%. That's an overwhelming percentage, who say we are going to undertake trips in the next 12 months. So it tells you that there is potential. Now, when you look at the proportion of household income which they spend, particularly on holiday trips, it's about 5% of the household income which they spend on their holiday trips. Now, the 91, 89, and 5%, here is a thought that I want to put for all of us, which collaborates with what we've seen in the trends in January to March, right? 91% say that they were satisfied with their holiday trip. But when we track across the previous waves, we actually notice that there's actually been a decline, because at some point it was sitting at 98% satisfaction, and now it has gone down. Which you now see the story collaborating in a sense that people are not taking as much trips as they would ordinarily have. And now the satisfaction shows that the satisfaction has actually declined. Now, how are we all then going to respond to ensure that we push satisfaction back to the levels where it's supposed to be? If you look at spend, same again here in the proportion of household income which they spend on holiday trips. So if you look at that part there, in the previous wave it was sitting at 6%. Now it's sitting at about 5%, meaning that you've had a percentage decrease in what people spend on holiday, meaning now they're saying they're spending less on holiday. How then do we respond to get them to at least move back to the 6% that we were in and potentially going up? Now, the reasons of why they prefer to travel, you've already spoken to them. Number one being relaxing at the beach. Number two being exploring the beautiful scenarios. Number three being good value for money. And good value for money, it's really fascinating. So it means that even our trade partners, how do they package their packages so that people actually feel that they're getting value for what they're paying? Because it's important for people, particularly because people are saying that they do have other high priority expenses which would make them not want to travel. So how do we play around that? Remember, we do tourism. Not only us, but everyone in the tourism value chain. We do tourism. So how do we come together, strategically align and partner to be able to do tourism?
Sorry, Bongani, you have to go back to that slide because, I mean, stitches, and you can't laugh alone. No? It's rude. But I like the preferred reason not to travel. Is not comfortable with the type of people I might meet. Mel, what kind of people are we that people are meeting out there? Sorry, I had to mention that.
That's very
It was a side. It's a side note.
Yeah, and those kind of reasons, it's very important that we actually take them into consideration, though it's not sitting on top.
Yeah.
But there are things such as some people might say, I'm not going to go to a certain place because I might be treated a certain way because of where I come from. So it's really important that in as much as it's somewhere down the line, we take note of it and we do something about it, saying that how do we make everyone feel welcomed?
And sharing
in the
it with
spaces.
the industry is important.
It's very important.
Very
yes.
important thing.
I
It's
just
very
wanted
important.
the good value for money and what you were saying about how can we improve what we actually put out there.
Yes.
Just going back to Sho't Left and the platform and where we're creating our deals. We always try and emphasize it because it's so important.
Sure.
When you are describing your deal, your package,
Sure.
put in as much information as you can. You're not just selling your accommodation establishment or your activity or, your restaurant. You're selling a destination and you're selling many reasons a person will book.
Sure.
So talk about what's going on around you. Talk about the hike that might be free, the walk on the beach, the safety of the area to take walks and explore, as well as your landscapes, what you can really enjoy as an experience, even though you don't link those to price, it adds value to somebody's
that's very
reason to
true.
travel. So, we don't see enough of it. We don't see even the collaboration between our trade partners, bring someone on board to add to the package. Make an arrangement between you, but don't try and do things alone. I think you'll see a lot more success in collaborating with each other.
That's very true. And be welcoming.
Sure.
Don't have melon either.
So the key in what you're saying, Mel, it's the issue around forming strategic partnerships. It's not a one-way road where we're saying we're going to walk alone.
Exactly.
We need to walk together and bring the change in the domestic tourism that we want to see. Now, as I draw towards an end, and so in terms of the kind of experiences that people are saying are aware and they're considering, for beaches and coastline, you'll see that the awareness is sitting at about 78%. So they are aware of such. And about 61% are saying that, we are actually going to such experiences, and you will see visiting friends and relatives, which then goes back to the reason why people travel. You know, it's 72% and about 52% say we are going to travel to visit our friends and relatives. You know, and you can see with all the other reasons there. Now, social media, you've already spoken to this. It's very key. You know, what channels do they use when they're researching that trip? It's social media, which comes out top. Over 50% say we use social media. And when booking the trips, what channels do they use? About 39% say they use online travel aggregators. Again, when they're sharing their experiences during the trip and after the trip, you'll notice that social media still comes out top, meaning that that is where we find them. So how do we place ourselves on those platforms so that people are going to see us, right? Now, the last slide that I want to show, it's one which talks about the effectiveness of our campaigns, right? We have seen that our campaigns have been very effective. So for most of the people who travel and then they would see either our billboards or in different places and all that, what do we see? So we've got about 53% who says we have seen the adverts, you know, in all these different places that we've placed them. Now, in terms of has it impacted past travel, we've got about 31% who say yes, it has impacted our past travel in a sense that it made us travel in the past by virtue of seeing the campaign. Now, the interesting part is this. Those who say we will still travel in future, it's about 84%. They're saying that because we've seen the ad, we will then now travel in future. So it has basically made us have an interest of traveling in future.
So it's working.
It's
The
working.
marketing campaign is working.
It's working, you know. So now, from here, it's up to us to say, what do we do? How do we convert this 84 to actually getting
Make sure
them
they travel.
to travel? And we now make that increase and make sure that we don't drop below that 11% marginal increase year on year. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it here. I think I've shared enough, you know, to get us thinking around domestic travel and how it's basically working out in that space. So yeah.
And I think also, again, like we mentioned earlier, this whole idea of advancing digitally and making use of social media, it's there. You know, I think it's evident with all that we are hearing from facts and research that those of us that are not yet moving forward to get there, it's time to do something. And like we said, take advantage of all those free platforms.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Thanks, Vongani.
Without a doubt. And I think one of the things that has been mentioned by Vongani quite extensively also is the importance of making sure our information is out there. People, I mean, we do our ads and, you know, they're impactful for people wanting to travel, but we still need to give those people the right information, where to go, how to relax by the beach. Sorry to those who don't have a beach, but there are other things. There's bush, there's mangoes, apparently. So yeah, there's different things that you can showcase. And you saw how beautiful scenery is also one of the things that's quite important.
Yes.
So thank you for that, Vongani.
And
We do
Shots, before you actually move from that
From the
point,
mangoes.
there are other things like the mangoes. People are looking for universal accessibility.
Yes.
There's a lot of travelers that what they choose and where they're going is dependent on that. So if you've got that available, they need to actually share that and showcase that on their deals, as well as Wi-Fi. If we want the
be
families to keep
surprised.
traveling, we need to tell them they can come and enjoy our Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, it's maybe because we haven't had load shedding in what is it? How many months has it been now? Thank the Lord for elections. But
Anything.
yeah,
Leave it.
the great thing is that people also want to know that I'm not gonna leave that house of mine that's dark
No.
to another dark house.
And sustainability. If you're doing great things to provide, using sustainable practice, share it. Tell people. There are some people, like you said earlier, from your the research you shared, Our research is that, it is one of the things,
Yeah.
the determining factors. How sustainable
true.
are you?
And you have to be part of a community. Being part of a community is something that's important for people to actually experience.
Especially in this business.
Bongani, I'm not sure. This is a question for you. How beneficial is it to have a TGCSA star rating and where it is advertised on our behalf, apart from our own marketing campaign? It's exceptionally beneficial. I will take this one. It is beneficial to have a TGCSA star because it gives people a sense that they know what to expect. We said information is key. So when a person knows what to expect, it is beneficial. It is not mandatory, but it is exceptionally beneficial. And we push for people on our platform to please be star graded. We will assist you. We will show you the discounts that are available for you to be star graded so that we also, when we push you on our platforms, we are also comfortable that we know exactly what it is that you're selling. So it is beneficial. As I said, not mandatory, but beneficial.
And you can showcase it on your deal.
And by all means, put that star proudly on your deal. It works wonders. The next question, does SAT conduct similar research for domestic corporate traveler? If so, is it accessible to the trade?
Well, currently we don't for domestic tourism. We only focused on leisure. We don't have one for now. Hopefully in future we would be able to, all things allowing, would be able to look at some of those. We, however, do have research which is specifically focused on business events, but not necessarily on a domestic focus,
Basis, yeah.
but just business events in South Africa holistically.
Yes.
So we do have that one, just that it's not tailored specifically for
Specifically for-
domestic.
yeah.
And all this research is available on our southafrica.net.
It is. If they don't find it on our website or they struggle to get it on our website, they can always reach out to us and we will then be able to send it out to them. An interesting thing is that how we structured is that we even have people are designated for certain provinces. So if you want someone to give you information in a certain province, you can
go
reach
to
out to
them.
that person, then they will give information on that particular province. So we do have all this research and readily available to be shared with
great.
everyone.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have research that is available, that is free. I think we've said free a couple of times today. That is free for you to absolutely access. We have platforms where Melanie barely spends time at home because she is everywhere around the country trying to give you guys the necessary information so that you can provide the best experience for South Africans and we can grow domestic tourism together. Thank you very much, Bongani. This has been, as always, I do not enjoy having you around because you make me feel not smart. But today I have enjoyed having you around, and I believe everybody has enjoyed the presentation that you have provided. We will continue sharing the presentations, and please don't forget to keep sharing comments, questions, anything, even post this particular session. You can do that so that we can get back to you. Remember, we are shotleft.co.za. You can contact us on shotleft@southafrica.net. Don't forget, if you need website issues, it's support@southafrica.net. And we are on social platforms on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram @shotleft. I am going to take a moment to... You're a great person. Really, you are. But I've been waiting for this for the whole day where we are going to sit and talk TikTok. So I'm going to wait for Mpho to come in and do TikTok with us so that if you are sitting there and you're thinking, I hear my children are on TikTok. What is TikTok? Is it a thing that ticks or does it talk? We are all about to find out about that. So please hold on to your seats as we are about to bring in Mpho to tell us about TikTok. I can't wait. All right. It has been a great day, and we are now on our last presentation. As I mentioned, I'm very excited about this. We're going to be talking about TikTok. So just so you know something about me, I have 2 teenagers who lock themselves in their rooms checking out TikTok. I don't know what they look at the whole day. I don't want to know. So what I do know is that it is a platform that is fantastic for us to showcase what we do. So, Mpho,
Hi,
how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
I've never been happier to see a person in my life. So I'm very, very happy to see you.
I've been listening to you hype me up for the last half an hour.
I
So
have been. I've been like, when is the time coming?
I only hope I can live up to expectations.
I'm pretty sure you will. Please, can you take us through TikTok?
100%, 100%. So yeah, I am here to take you through TikTok, through travel specifically on TikTok, right? Because that's what we're here to discuss. We're here to discuss travel domestically. I could go global with it, but I took a more domestic focus with this. So before I even get started, my name is Mpho. I'm a TikTok client partner at a company called Aleph, and what Aleph is basically is it's a reseller partner. So we basically resell media for the biggest platforms in the world, the likes of your Spotify's, Snapchats. But I'm obviously here to talk to you about TikTok in particular.
So next time we have you for something else.
Yeah, maybe next time you have me for something else, but I'll probably get our platform experts on those platforms to do that. To dive right into TikTok, I wanted to start with our user numbers first, and this is something that we're quite proud of because we're the fastest growing platform, not only in the world, but also in South Africa. So currently we sit at about 21 million monthly active users. That's about a third of the South African population, and we're seeing about close to 81 billion monthly video views from that 21 million audience. And then in terms of video content creation, it's close to about 40 million monthly videos created. So you can see that people are actually on the platform. They're very leaned into the platform, and they're engaging on the platform and creating their content and getting it out there for people to see. So that's the first thing I wanted to say about our platform. Large numbers, we're the fastest growing platform in South Africa and in the world. The second thing is more about how they're using the app, right? So they're staying on the platform for about a movie's worth every day. So you're talking about 80 minutes per day on average. They're opening the app about 9 times per day. Which is 9 opportunities to get in front of your audience if you think about it from a brand's perspective. And that's always something great to take advantage of from a brand's perspective. And then, in terms of device split, maybe this is maybe not so important, but I think it's something interesting to know. So it's 88% Android users versus 12% iPhone users. And again, that's more just for brands to know and to take advantage
High-fiving
of.
my Androids.
For a change.
In this market, Android wins. In this market, Android definitely wins. But yeah, and then to get into our audience demographics, so you can see a relatively even split between male and female. So there's a slight skew towards females at 56%, and males are 44% on the platform. But I think what's interesting about this slide particularly is that we want to dispel this myth that TikTok is a platform for teenagers who are always dancing and doing challenges. It's actually quite a strong performance platform, and we see it in the results, and we also see it in the audience that's there. So about
I go there
50
for recipes.
Oh, do you go there for recipes?
Yes.
Yeah,
Cool,
exactly,
fun
exactly.
recipes.
This proves my point. It's not only teenagers who are on the platform. Actually, 55% of our audience sits in that millennial age bracket. So you're 25 to 44-year-olds.
I'm
And
gonna tell
that's
you what I watch, but I don't think this is the platform to
no,
do that.
you're in a safe space.
No.
So yeah, 55% of our audience actually sits in that millennial age range. So that's the audience with buying power. And then 35% of our audience actually sits in that future core audience. So the people who are going to have buying power in the next 3 to 5 years. Yeah, so that's quite strong over there. And yeah, again, something great for brands to take advantage of when they're advertising on the platform. And then diving into the opportunity that exists from a TikTok perspective, especially for travel and tourism. So what we're seeing is that millions of users are actually coming to TikTok to be inspired by real experiences, right? By real experiences and by real people. And we see that in the level of hashtags that you can see over here. So this is, and I want to say this, I want to bring this to the forefront. These hashtags are, this is the level of hashtag views that you're seeing here is South Africa specific. So what you can see on travel over the last 12 months as well. That's also another caveat I want to add. So what you can see with hashtag travel, it has 1 billion views over the last 12 months. Travel Talk, which is a very popular hashtag, has close to 200 million views. Hiking Adventures is 27 million views, and Travel Inspiration is about 2 million views on these particular hashtags. Now, there's obviously more hashtags as you dive into TikTok, but these are the main ones I just wanted to pull out just so they can see the level of conversation that is happening and the level of engagement that's happening around these hashtags and travel in general on TikTok. And then in terms of the South African audience and their willingness to travel, 1 in 2 South Africans actually say they're interested in travel. That's at the very top level. But then 75% of South Africans actually say they travel twice a year, with 50% of that audience saying their holiday lasts at least a week. I feel like there's a question there.
No, it's
Yeah, it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. Cool. And then in terms of local travel, so 79% of our audience actually say they prefer to travel domestically than going abroad. So family-friendly travel is a big priority for them. And then 22.5% of TikTok users in South Africa are actually traveling a domestic vacation before the end of the year. So that's 4.7 million people to take advantage of from that perspective.
Does it go into why they prefer? Is it cost or?
There's many factors that are, and I'm going to get into it, but there's many factors that actually influence them to want to travel locally. And I'll get into that in a little bit. So yeah, I think in terms of the age group of the people who are wanting to travel, so it very much aligns to them being in the millennial age range, which is what I mentioned at the top of this presentation. So it's your 25s to 34s in this case who are who want to travel the most, with your 35% being the least, and then 39% sitting in that future core audience, so the 18 to 24s. So everybody really wants to travel, and it's very clear in the numbers as well. And this is what, getting to what you just asked, so this is what really influences our users to actually want to travel. This is what influences their decision to want to travel. So recommendations from friends and family, social media posts by friends and family, deals on travel websites. So this is where SAT can really jump in and help them make a purchase decision. Ads you've seen online, I think again, that's another opportunity there. And then ads you've seen on social media. So all of those last three are actually opportunities for Sho't Left to actually make an impact on travel decisions.
And for all our trade partners.
Yes, and for all your trade partners, 100% correct. And then getting into more about what actually influences their purchase decision. Value for money actually comes as number one, as the number one purchase influencer, if I can put it that way. With relaxing experiences and weather being like sort of secondary considerations, but the thing that matters most to them is value for money. So if they can get a good experience when they travel for the least amount of money while still having a great experience and not skimping on anything, that's where you can really capture your audience.
And that aligns with our research. Because relaxing features very high.
100%. I've been seeing the previous speakers speak to sort of similar points, and I'm glad to see that our research also aligns as well. Cool. And then in terms of our mission, like our mission is to collapse the customer journey and just make it easier for everyone involved in the customer journey. So with your tourists, we want to enable their travel experiences from planning to booking. So we want to let them know what's available to them. With creators, we want to empower them to inspire the tourists to actually make these purchase decisions. And then with tourism boards, we actually want to collapse that funnel and make it easier for our tourists to actually book their travel destinations all the way from awareness to conversion. And then in terms of how brands can do that, specifically Sho't Left and your travel partners, I think one of the best things you can do for your brand is actually to partner with TikTok creators. And there's a couple of benefits to doing that. Number one, you're actually leveraging the creators' audience, because usually they tend to have quite a large following, and in a specific kind of discipline, role, sector, whatever you want to name that. So if you are going to partner up with somebody, for Sho't Left specifically, I'd partner up with a creator who focuses on travel content. And the reason you want to do that is because you want to leverage their audience to actually expand your own audience and catch a wider audience of people to eventually convert at the bottom of the funnel. That's the first thing. The second thing is it humanizes your brand in a way. So you become closer to that brand and you form real connections with your audience through these content creators, because generally their content tends to be quite personal, and it tends to connect with their community. And once you partner up with them and have your name alongside them, it only grows your chances of actually making real connections with your community as well. So that's also something that you want to do. So you want to take them through that journey through the funnel. So from discovery to booking to experiencing it, using your content creators and leveraging those partnerships with your content creators. And yeah, these are just some sort of content ideas over here that you can actually that you can see actually work on the platform. Again, like, it's very simple things. These don't have to be high quality, polished kind of pieces of content. In fact, the content that's more real actually tends to resonate with the audience better.
So like using your phone and
100%. One of our brilliant basics is to actually shoot in 720p, and that's most smartphones these days. So you
With
can
an Android.
even an Android. You can tell my bias and where
I can hear it.
it's not privilege, it's just the device. If it makes you feel better, it's an iPhone 11.
Oh, hey, Jesus.
Cool. So yeah, this is just how you can actually leverage the platform to actually create interesting content. Cool. And then in terms of TikTok solutions, so we always recommend taking a full funnel approach. And what that means is that you want to have a touch point with your users at every stage of the funnel. So in awareness, you want to be exciting your users by creating videos that get them excited about destinations that they're going to. In the consideration phase, you want to redirect those users who watched your videos to actually go to your website and to your trade partners' websites to actually look at the deals that are available to them. And then in the conversion kind of phase, you actually want to retarget those users who have been on your website but didn't make a purchase. You want to remarket to them and encourage them to make a purchase. And then at every stage of this funnel, we also have studies that speak to each stage of these funnels. So brand lift studies more speak to the upper funnel, where we'd be measuring the awareness of your advertising activity and how it's resonating with the audience. Whereas conversion lift study would just show the impact that our advertising had on your actual conversions.
so those are like the reporting.
100%. These are studies. So there's standard reporting like your post-campaign analysis, your PCAs, but then these go a step further to dive into those insights a little bit more deep.
Per
so that-
campaign.
per campaign, so that you understand your campaigns and where you can improve and where you're doing well in your campaigns. And then I think the last thing I want to mention here is that even once they've booked, right, in this conversion phase, you still want to be collecting data. So what we're trying to push at the moment is to actually have a TikTok pixel in place, and this is going to help you collect data about your audience especially the audience who's purchasing, so that you can create lookalike audiences to market to on your platform as you continue your advertising. I'm getting a little bit technical here.
No, I'm enjoying it.
Are you? Okay.
Thoroughly.
Okay, as long as I'm not losing anyone, then that's great. But yeah, you do want to be creating those lookalike audiences so that you can continue to be converting more and more people on your websites and on your travel partners' websites. And then we always recommend also taking an always on strategy. So I think one of the misconceptions is that travel is seasonal. It's really not. It is
Not in South
throughout
Africa.
Not in South Africa. I know. Half of my colleagues go out for holidays during the course of the year. But yeah, we always want to be taking an always on approach to advertising on TikTok. And that's just for a number of reasons, but I think one of the big reasons is that you want to have a certain amount of share of voice on the platform, and you want to have touch points at every moment with your audience, so that when it comes time for those marquee moments, it's not a surprise, and your audience does know about these things that happen throughout the year, and they can leverage those to actually take their holidays and easily find deals for their holidays.
When it comes to our businesses, not necessarily an SMME, but a business, for those of the businesses that are really short on budget, what sort of entry-level campaigns can they start with?
Yeah, so there is sort of two approaches to actually doing an always on strategy, excuse me. So one of the ways you can do that is by creating impact, right, with your advertising. So this is the first one, and you can create impact by actually building up to a certain moment within a campaign, like a key moment where you're launching something really big, and then and in that build up, you'd be using what's called in-feed ads and top-feed ads. So in-feed ads, I would consider them the backbone of any advertising that you're going to run on TikTok, because this is kind of a standard advert that is there to kind of reinforce your messaging throughout the campaign duration, right? And this is what you kind of want to use to build up to your marquee moments. And then once you're at your marquee moments, you use something like a top view. Top view is what we consider sort of our premium billboard placement on TikTok. And why I say this is because whenever the user opens the app for the first time on the day, the top view is going to be the first advert that they see for the day. And that one is meant to drive mass impact. So using that for key launches is always recommended, because you are going to be making that big splash on the platform, and sort of making the noise that you need to make and the impact that you need to make about anything that you're launching at that moment. And then to reinforce this impact that you're making, again, you're going to be using in-feed ads. Again, backbone of any campaign that you're going to run on TikTok, and you're going to be using these in-feed ads with the reach and video views objective to actually sustain this engagement. So to answer your question, I think the lowest barrier to entry is probably going to be your in-feed ads. Because you can get a decent amount of reach and video views using in-feed ads. And really, in-feed ads is not just reach and video views. They really address every objective across the funnel. But they are quite popular for reach and video views. But that being said, I think those are the ad units that are going to maintain you and sustain you for a campaign duration. So that's the first approach you could kind of take to having an always-on strategy. The second approach is more of a staying flexible kind of approach, and you could also use this as an approach to sort of seasonal campaigns, if you want to put it that way. So staying flexible, it just means that you'd be launching and maximizing quick reach with your top view, and then reinforcing that reach with in-feed ads. And you can actually repeat this cycle. You don't necessarily have to, but I would always recommend repeating the cycle, because you can actually incrementally add on to the impact that you're making with your initial advertising, if that makes sense. Cool. And then just in terms of kind of some best practices, tips and tricks over here. So you want to start with the basics by following our brilliant basics. And following our brilliant basics is things like staying vertical on the platform. So we are a vertical format platform. So you want to stay in that format. We always want to take a full screen sound on approach because you want to make that impact. And then you also want to have a clear CTA and a clear kind of targeting strategy of who you want to be reaching with your advertising, and who your messaging is actually directly aimed towards. In terms of building creatively, so you want to keep your advertising quick, short and quick, short and to the point. So you almost want to be making that impact in the first 3 seconds of your advertising, because that's where the user's attention is at its height, when they're watching TikTok videos. So if you can make that impact within the first 3 seconds, you're already on a good path to advertising on TikTok. You want to have a narrative, and you also want to follow trends. So there are quite popular trends related to TikTok. Right now, there's a trend going around. I'm not sure if it's safe to say the name of the trend, but it's the trend where people are actually going onto airplanes and not watching anything on these airplanes, and they're just watching the airplane literally fly over water. I'm not sure if the name of this trend is safe to say, so I'm going to reserve.
Let's be honest, I do that too.
Yeah,
I don't know where I am.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it on a public platform. And then you also want to, again, use TikTok creators, partner up with TikTok creators. And then in terms of optimizing effectively, that's what I mentioned about having a pixel in place. You may want to have a budget, a bid strategy involved, like a campaign budget optimization, where you are optimizing for the lowest costs. And then again, targeting. You want to be speaking to the most relevant audience that you can possibly speak to and having the right messaging for them. And then, yeah, I thought it would be useful to have some case studies as well, just to show you how other brands have leveraged TikTok to actually achieve their goals. So in this case, we have a business in Saudi Arabia called Neom. So they're a multifaceted business, and they really, I think this case study actually speaks to how their targeting actually had the most impact on their advertising. So just by having the relevant targeting for the messaging that they wanted to put out, because they are so multi-sector and multifaceted, they have different messaging that they're pushing out, but they always have to make sure that their messaging is actually going to the right kind of audience that it will resonate with. And just by having the right targeting strategy in place, you can see some of the results that they achieved with their campaigns. So you're talking about 9 million views on 6-second views. So we have two measurements for campaigns. So it's 2-second views and 6-second views. 6-second views is what we call an engaged video view. So that's really somebody who's invested in watching this video and fully leaned into the content that they're watching. So 9 million of those views, that's quite a lot. And then total reach was 11.5 million. And then in terms of the cost per view, for 6-second views, we actually saw a 25% less cost per view in this case, just by having the right targeting strategy in place. And then in terms of ad units that they use in-feed ads, which again, backbone of any campaign that you're going to run on TikTok. And then Spark ads also. So Spark ads are essentially what's going to allow you to amplify your adverts, amplify organic content, let me put it that way. So whether it's organic content from a content creator that you're partnering up with, or organic content that you have on your own organic page that you just want to amplify to a wider audience, that would be Spark ads. The second case study I have is from TikTok and Expo 2020. And this one focuses more on value-based optimization. And what value-based optimization is really is sort of an optimization tool that we have in our back end, where you're able to optimize towards users who are more likely to spend as a first, and more likely to spend more, whether it's based on them having bought multiple items in one occasion before, or whether they have just bought very high value items in the past. So we'd be optimizing towards users who actually are more likely to purchase, essentially. And yeah, just in having this value-based optimization. So in this case, we actually A/B tested value-based optimization versus conversion optimization. And what we noticed is that there was a 13% increase in purchases when we had value-based optimization. There was an 11% increase in return on ad spend, and there was a 12% decrease in cost of advertising on these. So these are quite interesting case studies and really compelling ways to actually advertise on TikTok to help you actually reach your results and reach your ideal objectives and KPIs. But that is me in a nutshell. I hope you've been able to take something out of this session. And yeah, I'm open to any questions that you might have.
Thank you.
How do I increase the number of people in G as a girl? It's just in G as I'm sitting in my house.
The one thing I can say is consistency is key. That's across brand, that's across a normal user. Consistency is key.
Here's a question for you.
Does TikTok categorize the accounts? For example, if we are a travel partner, would our TikTok account be searchable within the TikTok travel section? Yes, so if you're opening up a business account, you do have the option to say, like, I'm in a certain sector. So you could open up an account and say, I'm in the travel sector. And yeah, like once you are targeting your audience, it's going to be easier to get the right kind of audience to engage with your account. So I would say yes. I think I need a little bit more detail on this question, but I think at a very high level, yes.
Because I know when I opened my TikTok account about a week ago, that you click on the things that you're interested in.
100%,
So
100%.
travel is one of the things that I clicked on. So I'm hoping that's the question you're actually
Well, as a
asking.
business. So we
Yeah,
know-
so what I'm
Yeah.
saying is that clearly businesses,
links
as
back,
you just
Yes,
said,
yeah.
for
So
me to be able to find a business that's travel, you have to
Yes.
exactly
categorize yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a business, when you're opening up your TikTok page, definitely you can do that.
Yeah.
And then as a normal user, like you've mentioned, like you can always outline your interests, and then you'll obviously be directed towards the businesses that are more relevant to you.
Yeah. I figured, in my limited knowledge, that made sense.
We live and learn, hey?
I
Does
tell
TikTok work
you.
for a B2B aligned strategy? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I can't pull the stats off the top of my head, but I actually did a B2B focused presentation last week. And a lot of the audience that does sit in that, I think it's 20 to 34 age range, are actually key decision makers within their business. And they are on TikTok and they are engaging on TikTok. So yes, TikTok does align to a B2B strategy. And I would need to provide you with more information, but a short answer is yes.
Is yes. Fantastic. I hope you got that. Get on TikTok. Don't be like me. I am on TikTok, by the way. I just need to do a lot more.
There was a little bit of judgment from my side.
Look, I mean, I'm not the youngest of people.
You're there.
No, but
Shats,
TikTok
that's
is for
what
everyone.
counts.
It's for
I now
everyone.
know. I feel like better now that,
I don't want
even
to give
my
my
people are there.
I don't want to give my mom's age away, but she's on TikTok and I can't even say older. Like, that's not nice. Mom, forgive me. But she's on TikTok and she enjoys the platform.
Look, my mother will kill me another day, but she's 71 and she's on TikTok.
Is it?
Yes. So, yeah, guys, you saw the numbers. The stats speak for themselves. You saw how you can leverage yourself on TikTok and make TikTok a business tool.
Business tool, yeah.
Exactly. Mbo, you've opened my eyes today. Honestly, I have thoroughly enjoyed this particular presentation. And, I've been hyping you up the whole day.
Yeah, you have, you
I've
have.
been waiting for you.
Did I live up to your expectations?
You did well. You did great.
Thank you.
I'm probably going to call you and say, Paul, so I only have 200 followers. How do I grow them to 300?
Let's have a chat.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Paul who gave us a fantastic presentation on TikTok. I urge you guys, this is a low-hanging fruit. This is how you grow your business. With that in mind, I just need to ask Mel a few things. Mel, give us the key dates for Travel Week.
Okay, so we need you to finalize creating your deals by the 25th of August so that we can ensure by the 2nd of September, when we go live for Travel Week, you are all on board, all approved, and all ready to go. Don't forget, Travel Week is the 2nd to the 8th of September. And then also, I just wanted to add that we've also got our full team on the session this morning. So if you have any marketing related conversations you need to have, we've got Mabeka and Kutwana assisting him. And then we've got Pila and Funeka on our partners and activations if you need those conversations. And on the trade side, myself and Hoitsi, who I think we know most of you. But if you need to reach out in line with any of those conversations you need to have, please feel free. And then I think also, just to mention our tutorial on how to use our platform in terms of creating your deals and your profiles. We have put on the YouTube channel on the chat, so please look out for it. We can try and get it up again. So have a look if you're struggling. Otherwise, please also reach out to us on support@southafrica.net or Sho't Left at southafrica.net. We are here to help. We are here to support.
Thank you, Mel. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed the session as much as we have. And thank you to all the people that came to speak and provide this information. We hope that it has assisted you to figure out how to actually grow your particular business and continue working with us at Sho't Left. Remember, it's your country. We all have to ensure that it is enjoyed by our consumers. We also have to enjoy it because nothing's more fun than
Then
a
a
Sho't
Sho't
Left. Thank you.